this thing on. You know, I really want to record this thing without headphones on, but I think the headphones are pretty necessary for me because they kind of act like a crutch for me at this point. Not only for the comfort, the way it feels on my head, but also I can monitor my voice and hear what it sounds like. And for me, that's kind of crucial. I can't just talk with a microphone out in the open. Doesn't work for me. So if you're like, why is this guy wearing headphones? That's why. We finally got it, guys. Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch is finally out. It's been out for a week now, and I've been able to play this game since launch. And this is not really going to be a review video. I'm sure if you want to hit up some reviews, my boy Drip Media Gaming over on his channel, the show you're seeing the card right now, go check out his video. I will quickly go ahead and just tell you my thoughts on Kirby, give you a quick review. But this video is about something that I want to talk about, and I think is a little bit more interesting than just a regular review. We'll get to that in just a second. But make sure you guys follow me over on twitch.tv/Uncle Geeb for cool, awesome streams. We might play some Kirby over there. For the most part, we're once a week over there every Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just have some fun over there, so go check us out if you haven't already done that. It took 36 iterations of the game and 10 different Nintendo consoles, but we have finally gotten Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the first 3D iteration of Kirby on any console or platform. Kirby's come a long way since Kirby's Dream Land over on the Nintendo Game Boy back. I don't even know what year that was. Why did I not write the year down? Okay, Google, what year did Kirby's Dream Land come out? 1992. Kirby has typically been a handheld experience for gamers. This is the first iteration of the game that really focuses on those 3D graphics that are most taken advantage of once you throw it up on that big screen. It's got some lighthearted gameplay, kind of everything you would expect from a Kirby game and Nintendo, really nothing more than that. The gameplay is super easy. I've been playing on the hard mode. It's really easy. It's a breeze. As Drip has said in his video, you know, I haven't died once. The same goes with me. You don't really die in this game. You have to be hard pressed to die. I bet you even your little kids probably won't die that much. You definitely lose some health on occasion, but for the most part, it's smooth sailing gameplay. I think this game really delivers on giving you an easy experience while also being challenging enough to keep you interested. If you don't mind the easy gameplay and really enjoy a game that really delivers on the experience of the game and not the overall difficulty, I think you're going to have a really great time with Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch. A couple weeks ago on the Drip and G podcast, by the way, if you're not checking out our podcast, link below, go check it out. But Drip and I had a guest on our podcast. We had, actually the last couple weeks, we had Alex Switch Corner from youtube.com/Switch Corner, and we had YouTuber Shibby120 over on youtube.com/Switch Unboxing. And we had those two guys on separate podcasts talking about Nintendo stuff as we always do. But both weeks we had brought up the Kirby demo. But some interesting conversation arose from a point that I brought up. A lot of you are not going to agree with me on this, but as we're talking about the demo, I had brought up to these guys that I think this game actually might have been a next generation game developed by Nintendo with the intention of releasing it on a future console. Something like a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, whatever, a new Switch that had better graphical powers. If you're playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land and you can kind of look past the 720p resolution and 30 FPS, and sometimes it dips below that, I think you can actually really see what I'm talking about. This game was not intended on a solo release on the regular Nintendo Switch. It still obviously looks and plays good enough to be on the Nintendo Switch. It's not a situation like a 3DS and new 3DS situation where those games literally wouldn't even be able to be ported over to the regular 3DS because the system couldn't handle it. The Switch can handle this game. That's obviously so. It's out in the Switch right now. Nintendo would not have released it if it wasn't ready for the Nintendo Switch. But I think they had to scale back big time. I think they had to downgrade these graphics big time on the Switch just to get it to run at 30 FPS 720. This game is so detailed. If you look at the buildings, the character models, and the world environment around you, you can really see that the textures are next level. Now, obviously, they're still low resolution, but I think if you kind of look at the textures from this game and look at some textures that come from like a game like, let's say, Mario Odyssey, you could see a big difference in the textures. Mario Odyssey, again, looks great and runs fantastic on the Switch at a smooth 60 FPS. But in order to do that, the textures are definitely lesser. This Kirby game, I think they did the same, but I think they kept some of those textures true. If you get real nice and close to those furry little demons, whatever those things are called, those enemies in Kirby, those dog-like things, get really close to them. The texture it's really good. It's better than I think what we've seen a lot from Nintendo games in the past. I want to make it clear that this game itself is not, even if I think it might be next gen, it is not a high quality next gen game. Like if you look at the latest and greatest releases like an Elden Ring or something to that effect, those graphics, even if you put Kirby up and made it 4K, it's still not going to compete with a game like Elden Ring. It's not meant for realism. It's still playful, and in that regard, it's still not going to be at full strength a great next-gen game. So I'm not saying I think Kirby is amazing and you just can't see it. That's not really what I'm talking about. For Nintendo standards, for a playful graphical style, this game is definitely a next-gen title from Nintendo. Just comparing it to a game like Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is the world sizes are a bit bigger. With that being said, as a bigger game, they do need to kind of compress things. But Kirby, it looks like they just took a step, a notch up. They were like, forget about 60 FPS, because they could have easily made this game run at 60 FPS if they wanted to. I think this was an intentional move. I think this game was supposed to run on better hardware, and instead of kind of downgrading the graphics to match something like an Odyssey, it's as if the max setting on Odyssey is set to a low and Kirby is set to high. So Kirby is about 2 notches up in graphical power in terms of textures and overall look of the game over Odyssey. If they could have got this game running at 60, we would all be having this conversation, not just me, about Kirby being a next-gen game. If Kirby was running at 60, you could really see the full potential of this game. You just have to look really hard to see that detail, because it's overshadowed by the blur in the game, which looks good, tasteful blur, but I think there's kind of over blurred spots in the game. I just think overall that Kirby in the Forgotten Land has extremely detailed visuals that are kind of limited by the capabilities of the Switch, that we're not seeing the full potential currently on the Switch. But if this game was on better hardware, I think you guys could really see this game at its true colors. I really don't think this game is being utilized fully on the Switch, but I do think this is a next-gen game that is running on the Switch, and Nintendo made a next-gen game that didn't tell us and put it on the Switch. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts about this? Have you played Kirby yet? Have you gotten the chance to check this game out? Have you seen any of this gameplay, any of these visuals, and do they look anything close to next gen to your eyes? Go ahead and compare the two next to Odyssey, and you guys let me know what you think if this is a next gen game. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching in this video, and I will catch you guys in the next video.